So to cut a hole in this object here, what we need is a cylinder of the size of the hole we want. So let's go ahead and create a cylinder with Shift-A, Mesh, Cylinder. And we've got 32 sides. Let's go ahead and take this down to 16. And we've got our cap fill at an Ngon. Now, briefly, an Ngon is any face that is more than 4 sides. A quad is a 4-sided polygon, and a tri is a 3-sided polygon. I tend to default putting tris or a triangle fan on the top and the bottom of a cylinder, just because for me it's easier to extrude in and insert edge loops and things like that with. We'll do more of that as we go on, but I just wanted to point that out. It really is a personal preference for choosing a triangle fan here. But let's go ahead and move this forward in the y-axis right here. And let's scale it down. And I'll turn it in the x-axis because we want it perpendicular to the object we're going to cut. So I'll press RX90 and turn it there, and then the Enter key. And let's see if we can figure out how big this is supposed to be. I'm going to bring this into here. Can we see it from the front view? Let's see. Let's hit that 1 key. And if I hit the Z key and go to wireframe, can we see it here? No, we can't, because it's got one of those pieces, that black piece in front of the object that we're creating. So we can't really see it here. That doesn't do us a whole lot of good. So I'll hit Z and go back to solid view. So we're just going to have to eyeball it, which is fine. SY to scale that out. And I'll bring that up. Let's scale it down a little bit more. Try and put it right about in here, let's say. Something like that. Here, let's try that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring this out some so it's only intersecting with the piece that we want to cut. And then what we'll do is we'll use the Boolean modifier. Just like we use the solidify modifier, we'll just use the Boolean. So what we want to do is select the piece that we're going to cut. We'll go over here to the modifiers panel. We'll add a modifier, choose Boolean, and now this is going to be a difference operation. We have intersect, we have union, but this one we want to go ahead and use difference for because we're actually trying to subtract one thing from another. We're trying to subtract the intersection of these two objects from the main object. Now, we need to tell Blender what the cutting object is going to be, and we could type it in here, or we could even click and try and find it in the menu, but since I haven't been giving these things any reasonable names, it would be kind of hard to find in the menu. So what we can do is just click this little eyedropper and hover over the object we want and click that, and that will then add the object there. Now, it didn't look like a lot happened, right? We don't see much of a difference here. However, if we click apply and then take this object and move it out of the way, let's see what we get. Move that down, and that's what we get. So you can see we've cut that object out. We've cut that hole. We need a little bit of thickness. There's kind of a bit of thickness in there. So we need to select this object and then tab into edit mode and then select this edge. So I'll press the 2 key, press Alt and click, and then Alt Shift and click. There we go. Now we can extrude that edge back just like we did with these other ones. So I'll press E and Y, and then I'll pull this back straight like that. There we go. So now we have that piece cut in there. And this piece here, we can go ahead and just get rid of. I'll hit X and delete because I don't think we have another hole over here. So I'll just hit X and delete, and there it goes. Now, you could do more. There are all these holes in here, but I don't think I need to get that detailed, at least at this point in time, because every time we do this, we're going to create quite a few polygons. Let me show you what I mean here. I'll hit Tab, and what we've done, now remember we talked about Ngons and polygons greater than 4 sides. If I hit the 3 key and choose this face, you can see that this polygon now has quite a bit more than 4 sides. All of these edges now have been added to it, and in fact, we can come down here and we can see we've got 15 edges selected. So if I just selected this face here, look down here, we only have 4 selected. So if I select this one, we've got 13. So these are definitely Ngons. And you may have heard that you should only use quads, four-sided polygons, or tris when you're dealing with an object for a game. And that's really only kind of true, I think, in that, first of all, you need quads anytime you're going to sculpt. Anytime you're going to actually sculpt high-resolution detail on an object, the sculpting tool is going to want to see a quad. It can deform and sculpt on quads a lot easier than anything else. The other reason you would need quads is if you're going to actually animate it, if you're going to actually deform it. So if you have a character and you're bending the arm at the elbow, at the shoulder, at the knee, in those areas, you're going to need quads to be able to get predictable bending or deformation. So you need quads for animation, you need quads for sculpting, but in a video game engine, beyond any of that, it's going to take every polygon that you have in your object and convert it to tris anyway. So it's going to take this face here and it's going to convert it to tris. You can see what it might do if you right-click and come down here and choose Triangulate Faces. So if we choose that, this is probably what you're going to get in Unity. It's probably going to do this automatically. Same thing down here. It'll probably do something like this once you get it into Unity. In addition, it'll do all these others. It'll take all of these and it'll create triangles out of all of this as well. It's just easier for a video game engine to deal with polygons when they're at their smallest base level. But I'm just going to hit Control-Z. We don't have to do that currently. We can let Unity do it. We don't know exactly how it's going to break that up. We can convert to tris here if we want to specifically tell Unity this is the way we want our tris to be. But generally speaking, you can just leave it like this and Unity will just do it the way it wants to. All right, so we've added some good detail to the bumper area here. What we can do now is begin to add a little bit more detail, like bolts and connecting pieces, but I don't really want to do that quite yet because, as I said, I want to get all the pieces in. So what let's do for now is let's move away from the bumper and let's come back up here to the rest of the vehicle, begin working on the actual cab as well as the doors, the windows, etc.